Hello, my darlings. Today we are going to go over how to cite books. You're going to need a couple documents out. So the first on Google Classroom posted should be something called Research Facts Blank. And when you open it up, it'll be a blank version of this where it says source. This will be blank. This will just have a 1 in it. And there should be 5 of these, okay? This is where you're going to type up all of your information on Google Classroom. And this is where I'll be checking for your sources and for your facts. Now, there are 2 parts to this assignment. The first is having a total of 30 facts from at least 5 different credible sources. The second part is making sure that this information that tells me where to find this, where to go for this information, where it was published, making sure that is accurate. And in this, the place where people lose points the most is they forget the commas or the periods or to underline or to capitalize. So those are the things that you're going to want to double check. 30 facts total, not from each source but total. And also having the author and the page number, or if there is no author, just the title and page number afterwards. There is already another video on how to cite websites, which is down here, so I'm going to go over how to cite a book. Now, the other thing you're going to need is the source outline, and these should all be linked on Google Classroom. This walks you through different sources and tells you what you need in what order, and then also gives an example. Okay, so the one I'm going to work with is the book with author, because I know that Lord of the Flies by William Golding has 1 author. Sometimes there is no author, in which case you would just skip the very first author part. Sometimes there are 2 authors. So you would include their names, first and last, put them in alphabetical order, and connect with an and. Sometimes you have 4 or more authors, in which case you don't have to list them all. You just list the very first one with their last name, comma, first name, and then et al., which stands for and everybody else. It's Latin. I think it's a fun word. Et al., and you know, everybody else. So once you get past the author part, everything else is the same. So figure out what you need to do about your author, and then we're going to continue here. The author's last name here is Golding William. So I'm going to write down on this document Golding William. I'm going to end with a period, because it says after the author, put a period. After that, you put the title, you capitalize it, and you also underline it. You underline using the U with the line underneath it. That is by the bold. It's important to remember to capitalize. Now, technically, little words like of and the do not need to be capitalized. However, I would much rather see you accidentally capitalize a word you shouldn't than not capitalize anything or not capitalize important words. So the name of the game, capitalize. Now, after that, it's important to get off of the cover and go to the cover page. So the cover is all about merchandising, advertising the book. So it's going to do a lot of fancy things and not provide all the important information. The cover page, which is usually a few pages in, is going to have the information that we need. So what is the title of the book? The title of the book is Lord of the Flies. But sometimes in research there's a second title. So maybe it's Lord of the Flies, a book about people on an island. If that's the case, then you're going to put a colon in between the 2 titles. So chaos, making a new science. Chaos is the title, This is the subtitle. You connect them with a colon. You underline them both. You include them both. The next thing you're going to need to remember is a period. So title, underlined, capitalized, and a period. After that, you need the place published. Generally, you're going to find the place published on the bottom down here. Now, sometimes they just have the city, sometimes they have the full address, sometimes they have the city and the state. If they just give the city, New York, put the city. If they give the city and the state, Cambridge, Massachusetts, you can go ahead and put both. Sometimes they give a whole bunch of cities: Boston, New York, Chicago, Toronto, Sydney, London. Start with the city that is in America. After that, pick the one that is closest to where we live in Cincinnati. For us, that would probably be Chicago, followed by New York and Boston. You don't need the full address, just the city if it's a famous city, and the city and the state if it's one that you've probably never heard of. After you put the place published, you're going to don't forget to put that colon. That shows that something is coming next. Then you're going to put the publisher. Once again, that should be on this cover page. For me, it's Penguin Books. Sometimes they have two companies, in which case just list the first one. That might be Simon & Schuster. That might be Simon & Schuster Common Inc., which stands for Incorporated. Whatever they put is what you should put. If they have a comma, you put a comma. Generally, I would look for the thing that has a little bit of a picture. That's usually a clue that that's the publisher. It's their logo. After the publisher, you're going to put a comma, and then you're going to put the year it was published. So you're going to find that after the cover page, you're going to find it on the fine print page here. Now, generally it is required by law that books have this page, so they should have it. You are going to look for the symbol, the C with a circle around it, and next to that you should see a year nearby. Now this one lists two, 1954 and 1982. You're going to go with the most recent, which in this case is 1982. Now, you'll also notice sometimes there isn't a publisher on this front page. If you go to the back page, you'll also see some publishing information. So here they give New York is their place, and also their publishing company. So remember that you can find that information there as well. Once you get that down, remember you are writing down facts from each of those sources. You can do direct quotes or copy paste, but you got to remember to use those quotation marks so you remember that those aren't your words, those are the authors. You also need to remember to have the last name and the page number of the author. If there is no author, the title. Make sure that you have the page number after each one. It will save you a lot of time. You can also paraphrase, so they call Ralph the boy with the fair hair quite a bit. You can paraphrase there. You can summarize. You can also paraphrase, Jack is the leader, not a very good one. He doesn't care when people faint. That is a summary of that page that happens in the book. Goes on for like a page and a half, 2 pages. I don't need all of that though. I just need to summarize the important part. Remember, the total number of facts is using all of the sources, not just one. So you don't need 30 facts from this source and 30 facts from this source. A total of 30 facts is fine. Remember, you can lose points for not capitalizing, missing periods, having stuff out of order. So make sure you double check how to do that. This paper should give you information on how to do all types of things, including websites, TV shows and TV documentaries, podcasts, and YouTube, although be careful because YouTube has to be a credible source, so you have to do some background on whoever posted it. please, 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 if you have any questions, ask me. The difference between an A and a C on this assignment tends to be the A person asks lots of questions. So keep me busy, keep me running around, make sure you're asking your question and getting the help you need. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.